Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about The Amazing Race 37, episode 6.
David's back, and we're going to talk about Amazing Race. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdtainment.
Yeah, we kind of look like we're in a tunnel.
I know. I love this new background.
Like,
we're like falling into the abyss for The Amazing Race.
If it's too trippy, let me know.
No, I love it. I think it's fun to switch up the background.
David was traveling, but he is back.
I am back. And thank you for bearing with us extra day for this recap. But yeah, I got a lot of thoughts. But we got to get to the end. We got to start at the beginning. Okay. I don't know if you know how we do this. We start at the beginning and then we end at the end.
Oh, okay.
And I have a lot of thoughts when we get to the end.
Oh, okay, great.
It was a very dramatic finish.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But
we're
starting with your guys in first place, Brett and Mark.
Oh.
Leaving at 3:55 in the morning. They're learning that they're flying to Dubai. And I checked in my notes, dive for fast forward. So I guess there was a clue in their departure thing. Dive, you're going to dive for the fast forward.
I would have been like, no need, thank you.
I literally would have been like, skydive? Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me skydiving.
No.
For sure. I was shocked when we get to it. Everyone was excited about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not diving under the water either. There's no diving.
Oh, I think I'd be down for under the water.
In my world.
But not from the air.
So when I don't get to recap with you, I have to bring up last week.
Yeah.
Because I can't be myself with everybody.
So what happened last week?
Last week's episode, they had a water challenge. I forget. I think it was... What was it? Was it even what happened last?
I'm literally like racking my brain because I do remember being bummed because I took a whole set of notes and then I wasn't able to recap with you. And I was like, I wanted to talk about this. Oh, it was Scott and Lori's elimination.
Yes, David.
Oh, the double U-turn vote.
God, it was such a good one to talk about.
What a good episode. And the one where they had to lug the coconuts and then they had to go out into the water and... What did they have to do in the water? Yeah,
they had to plant the coral. Remember?
Right. Yes.
And so Brett and Mark, my loves, and the gamers were having a little gay beach moment.
Yes.
While their partner, that was a different one. Was that a different one? There were too many water things last time because the coral
I think
was
both the
together.
gays were on the coral, weren't they?
No, but the coral one you had to do together. So Brett and Mark.
But the gay beach moment, I think, was when they had the surfboards and they were trying to find the logos on the surfboards.
I'm mixing up all the water challenges. There was a moment when Brett and Mark come out of the water in just their swim trunks.
Oh, I saw it.
And they handed whatever to somebody. They got a clue and they said, "Thank you." And I literally wrote in my notes, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
I can only do this with you.
Yeah. We can only be thirsty together.
Yes. I was like, dear producers, bless you. Oh my God. That was the longest rant for like the littlest thing. But
no,
anyway.
We got it. But the loves of your life are heading out first. Now I was writing down all the departure times. There's a full hour and a half because remember Jonathan and Anna got double U-turned in the last episode. And so there's an hour and a half between Brett and Mark and them. They're the final team to depart. So significant sort of spacing there. We do see Nick and Mike leave in second to last place. Yes. And they've learned from, these first legs of the race. This time they're going for first place. This leg. That's what they tell us.
Did they tell us
That's what they tell us in confessional. Y'all know my beef with Nick and Mike. After I picked them for my draft team thinking, I'm going to run away with this thing.
Away. Scott and Lori almost had you run away.
They did. But now they're gone. And Nick and Mike, love to see it.
Yes, bring it.
Please fight for first place. Please.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Because, by the way, for the past 2 weeks, I've been saying, either place feels right for them. And that's this episode. So I'm like, either they are going to get first or they're going home. I thought that's what this little edit was indicating. Close. Yeah. But anyway, they're going to the airport and the ticket counter doesn't open until 7:50 in the morning. So it's level playing field. Everybody's on the same flight to Dubai.
Yeah, we get a little, because Brett and Mark go to a travel agency and we hear them say, everyone's going to make it on this flight. Yeah. So everyone gets to the airport. We do get like some awkward hugs.
Loved it. Loved it.
some little like, oh, sorry about that double U-turn thing. Sorry about that.
Why did you vote for us? You knew we were going to get U-turned. So why did you pile on?
I mean, that is a fair question, to be honest. That is a fair question.
It is a fair question.
But I think
you know what I would do?
Made their point.
You know what I'd do? You know what? In hindsight, I totally agree, and I wish I had voted the other way.
I would.
I can't go back and change it.
Can't.
But I so agree with you, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
If I could go back in time, I'd do it differently. But I can't.
If you ever hear David say that to you,
I don't mean it.
He's full of it. Don't believe anything David says.
They get to Dubai and stay at this overnight camp. Remember that with the teacups?
Sleep outside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, first they're going to get their little teacup times, right? That they leave the next.
There's a 10-minute difference between the first 4 and the second 4.
It's only a 10-minute difference, but that'll stretch out once we get to it.
It's significant when you're all together like that. You know,
but the overnight in a tent did seem cute.
Yeah,
they're chatting, making dad jokes.
I love those moments because you never really see them interacting much, and I love the moments where you see them actually sort of bonding as a cast. Because sometimes they in fact, it happens this episode where they end up on the mat and they're like the friends we've made along the way. We don't get to see those relationships forming, so it was kind of cool to see that. So the first group of 4, we've got Han and Holden, Jonathan and Anna, which is great for them because they were in last place,
right?
Josiah and Alyssa and Jack and Carson.
Yes.
So those are the first 4, and then
and so what's going to happen is those first 4 are going to load onto a plane, and somebody's going to skydive.
Someone's skydiving. Now, before we do that, can I point out last place getting to the teacups?
Yeah,
Nick and Mike. But don't you worry, they're changed. They're gunning for first. They got the last teacup.
Look, you can gun
all you want
for anything.
Yeah.
That does not change where you are at.
Oh Lord. But yes. Skydiving, parentheses in my notes, kill me.
Oh my God.
So you don't like skydiving?
No, God, no. I don't like anything that drops.
I thought you were super into a bungee situation.
No. I like heights. That's what so
you like heights, but not jumping from them.
Falling. I don't like falling.
Okay. Well, we're screwed on this.
Yeah, no, we're definitely. I was shocked. No one had a panic attack. I would absolutely be having a panic attack.
I know.
You would have to throw my lifeless body out of the plane while I just am like,
just beat me over the head and knock me out and throw me from the plane.
Yes.
That's how to do it.
Now, there were some teams that were like, who wants to I don't have the line, but I guess it was dive something.
Right.
Who wants to whatever. And people were like, oh, that's so-and-so. So it seemed like they knew.
They knew which, there was very much clearly a diving from the heights challenge. Love to see Pops and Melinda both doing it.
Right.
The parents.
And Pops was like, this is on my bucket list.
Yeah.
He was so stoked. And I love that.
And Melinda was like, you know what? Even if heights aren't my favorite thing, I can jump from a plane.
She's like, I can do this one.
Don't ask me to run. No. Don't ask me to lift a lot of things. Don't even ask me to be able to find where the rice is that I need to thresh. But I can jump from a plane. So I love that. So this is where we get the groups separate, right? This is the determination of the 10-minute situation.
The 10-minute, but also because they have to go one by one, right? So even some of them that are in that first 5-10 group, your third, fourth, you're still starting to fall back a little bit. Right. And then the last of the second group is really going to be behind, I would think. So we do have their order because it says Jack goes first, then Holden, Alyssa, Anna, Brett, Nick, Pops, and Melinda. But there was an amazing shot. It was towards the beginning of everyone's on the plane in that first group, and we see, they're strapped onto a pro, and they're about to jump out. There was a camera guy who was hanging out the door. And there was a shot of him. It was such a good shot, though, because that's how, he goes out with them to get the shot of them falling.
I remember a similar moment where people were actually falling and they capture a camera guy in the background. And you forget.
No, that's so
that's
amazing.
How they get the footage is that a man is jumping with a camera.
Yeah, he's just hanging on to a plane with a camera, and then he's 1, 2, and then they all just go.
It's crazy.
It's so wild. I love those shots.
I know. So cool. I loved the moment of there's, sort of checking in with some of the people on the ground. Josiah is a wreck. He's like,
no,
I love her so much. It feels so much better when she's on the ground. I'm like, you're the sweetest man to ever have been born.
I love Josiah. Josiah, I love so much. He's so positive.
We've talked about him a lot.
He's on the adventure of his life.
Yes, the joy.
But the fact that he was like in tears on the ground, waiting for her.
Yeah.
That was so wild.
I know. He's like, oh, I just need Alyssa's 2 feet on this ground. I need her to be safe. Okay. He's like so nervous.
Jonathan and all other men, honestly, take note.
Yeah. So then Jack and Carson, as you said, are first. And so they're going to just land in order on this skydiving thing. There's no jumping ahead. So they see the clue, deep dive to fast forward.
It says, get in the orange luxury car.
Yes.
For the fast forward, because we do see Han and Holden looking first. They seem like they have somehow gotten ahead. They're like running to the parking lot.
Yeah. They're also like, we have to find the orange luxury car. And then the editors do like a zoom in on a car as though they're missing it. It's clearly a yellow car. I'm like, that's not an orange luxury car. Like, what are you trying to... Was it orange?
It was not yellow.
No.
It was a orangey red.
No way.
Yeah, because I thought, is that orange or is that red? But it 100% was not yellow. There was maybe...
Okay.
But
not that like that.
Okay, now wait. I have
never
to go back.
Ceases to shine.
I was gonna say, could you find the car?
Well, when they finally got to the orange car, it's like that is clearly an orange car.
Okay, you saw.
I remember rewinding and being like, they just did a dirt, 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 dirt. Whatever the sound effect is when they like the teams are making a mistake and they've missed something.
Yeah.
They like froze on this car and zoomed in.
But now they
looked like a yellow car.
And there was a luxury car, like a Jeep or something, and then another luxury car. Are you talking about the very far one where they like arrowed to it or whatever, they circled or something?
I don't remember an arrow or a circle.
I think they did something of like this car because this one might have been yellow.
Maybe that
I can't remember.
Whew, okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Do you guys remember? Because it was like a fancy car, and then like there's one way down there.
Yeah, I remember it was a mix of not luxury cars and a luxury car that I saw as yellow. And it's like, that's clearly not it. Like, why are they zooming in on that? But maybe there was another thing that I missed.
Yeah, Nikki, I thought the same thing. Like, what, David?
Look, just because I'm colorblind does not mean I will not come in as though I'm right.
100%. I know.
Because I see the world in my own way. And I'm confident about what I saw, but it's just not what you saw.
There were a couple there, but I don't think just from the angle, because when we see Jack and Carson come out of a building, the luxury car is like backed up into a building.
Yeah,
that
it was kind of in a weird spot.
In the shot,
yeah,
the camera showed us from behind.
It was not in a line of cars. Yeah.
So I think they were trying to trick us.
I think
I don't know if Han and Holden like just barely missed it, like they tried to make us think.
But anyway, Jack and Carson find it.
Yes.
So does that mean they've got it? Like once you find, is there only one luxury orange car and you get in it and you go and nobody else can go for the fast forward at this point?
Yeah. So apparently this seems different, right? The fast forwards that I know and love, I thought multiple people could go for, and there was a bit of a competition for it.
But this just seemed like we got the car, you're out of luck.
Yeah. And like if they had maybe driven all the way to the pool of world, whatever that was, and said, no, I can't do it. Does the orange car go back and then someone at the end of the pack gets the option?
I think it's more fun to have teams race to wherever the fact, because you get lost in traffic, et cetera, et cetera. Let the first team who actually gets there go for the fast forward rather than like, oh, I found the orange car. Now this whole thing is done.
Yeah, I was very bummed that Jack and Carson just got to go. I mean, good for you. Happy for it. But I need other teams to be like, we can do it as well, or we can do it quicker.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they couldn't do more than one team to go through the whole scuba diving lesson, go down in there. They probably couldn't have like multiple
Maybe that's
teams.
why they had to do it the way they did it.
But still, like, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah. It would have been more fun to see a team go all the way there.
Yeah.
And be like, Jack and Carson already got it. Now we have to pack up and go back.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also dive in and like steal it away from them.
Oh, interesting.
I want to see more than one team diving down, trying to find this. I mean, it's like those people had to run up all of those steps. And what's the Texas dad and daughter who like were so far behind, had no business running up those steps. But they still did it.
They still did it.
Like,
and then they found out once they got to the top, like, it's gone.
And the Southern California couple, I know nobody's name.
Testing our memories.
You know
them.
The husband and wife who just missed the sign.
The blonde guy?
Yeah.
Yep. Whatever they were like
Todd and Ashley. Orange team.
Yes.
No colors. You get it. Anyway, they had to fight for it. That's what I want to see.
Yes.
But anyway, Jack and Carson
are off on their way
in a car.
And it seems like
Dubai.
There's that and then there's the rest. Like it's very divided. The other teams are going to go to Atlantis Royal, which I do not remember a detour or a roadblock or a challenge with such a robust integration of a property.
Chef Christoph.
Welcome to Atlantis Royal, where we have 800 rooms, 17 restaurants, and 90 pools.
David, they're in Dubai.
I know.
Of course, it's going to be integration with every business ever.
You're going to put our pastry chef on television. Oh, we're blocking off his entire day to be the judge for
You want
challenge.
Our hotel. We're going to give you info about the hotel. We're going to give you our chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
he said Atlantis Royal at least 15 times.
At least.
As if I have the money to go to
and
Dubai
honestly,
and stay at Atlantis
Pops and
Royal.
Jeff mentioned it in their exit interview. Like, I think they got a pay bump. They're like, how many times can you say it?
Oh my God. And like so many beauty shots of the property.
Yeah.
In fact, this whole episode, I did notice in multiple confessionals where they were like, Jack and Carson in the scuba day. Oh my goodness. I think I could have stayed down there for hours, even if I had already found the fast forward. It's like, we get it. This is a tourism video for Dubai. Okay. But the rest of the teams are going to Atlantis Royal to prepare afternoon tea.
And the Wiz Khalifa.
Look, I know it's okay not to know things.
I didn't know what it was called.
You didn't know the Burj Khalifa?
No.
Oh, okay, then fair.
But I guarantee it wasn't called
You knew
Wiz
it wasn't
Khalifa.
the Wiz Khalifa. Yeah. That was so funny. They're like, Wiz Khalifa lives here?
What's your favorite part of Dubai? The Wiz, or not the Wiz Khalifa. Bless Mark for having the guts to ask, what about Wiz Khalifa has anything to do in Dubai?
Okay, I'm going to go on a tangent. We are all over the place today, and I'm loving it. One time I was in Scotland with Alyssa, who you know, and their accents are their accents, right? So there's a famous Scottish poet named Robert Burns.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Yep. We're in a cab in Scotland, and the cab driver passes some monument to Robert Burns, and he says it like this: something, Rabbi Buns. And Alyssa goes like this: oh yeah, Rabbi Buns.
Is what I would do. I would play everything off.
You're like, oh, of course, Rabbi Buns.
Good old Rabbi Buns.
It's the same kind of thing where they're just like, uh-huh.
Yeah, I would have been Brett. I'd have been like, Wiz Khalifa, you say. And then I would have just pretended like I knew exactly what that was. But Mark's like, what? And the guy's like, this building. The building is called Wiz Khalifa. And they thought it for days. No one corrected them. They said that the camera team kept laughing at them, and they would be like, well, it has to be north of Wiz Khalifa. They spent the whole rest of the time.
So funny.
Oh. You can't make it up.
You can't pay for a moment like that in a tourism video.
So good.
It's too good. So
where are we?
Let's see. All the teams end up at the tea at the same time. Everybody eventually gets there. We do see like the second group of skydivers are like racing in their cabs. And I think there is some like passing of people in their cabs on the way to Atlantis Royal.
Yeah.
But they're all there working on this. Like, it's a I actually like this challenge a lot because
it's very detailed
and very small.
Yeah.
So it forced them all to slow down.
Yeah.
And pay attention. And it's really interesting, I think, to see the contrast of that versus like a lug the coconut challenge where you know it's brute force and you're just trying to go as fast as you can and you're yelling at your partner when they need to take a break and nobody's yelling. Everybody's very focused and communicative and like, I think we need the white flower over here. And it's just nice to see this a little more relaxed because they're so focused challenge. I enjoyed it a lot.
I always love when they have to slow down because it's so against what they've been doing. But this is quite a detailed and long route info. This is the route info.
Yeah, I know.
And they have to go through all this, and we get a plug for Chef Christophe quite a few times, and he's going to end up judging it.
Yeah. Now, Nick and Mike, they remind us we've learned from our mistakes.
Oh, have you?
At the beginning of this tea thing. And they're going to take it slow. They're going to get this.
Yes, they meditate. They get it. They take breath. It's fine. So basically all the teams are going to get there because we're pretty bunched up, except for the gamers who are swimming in a world underground.
Yes.
Alyssa and Josiah, they're going to get it on their first try or second try, but they're going to get out first here.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Anna are able to like get out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Han and Holden fall in love with Chef Christophe. I love that.
Yeah.
They're going to get out.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's just sort of
like,
going
those
through.
Eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're both crushing on him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it also was nice. I mean, sorry to go backwards, but like, it was really nice to see Jonathan and Anna like having fun together doing this challenge.
I know, right?
Yeah. So great.
Yeah. They had recovered from the double U-turn by this point.
Yeah. I love like, Han is the sister, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Han's like, I have a boyfriend, but whoa. And Holden's like, I mean, those eyes are hella blue. I'm into it. So cute. So yeah, it's Josiah and Alyssa who are out first, and then Han and Holden are out second. But then we go over to the fast forward and we see Jack and Carson again with the tourism video of this thing. It looked incredible. And I'm like,
would you be able to do this?
So much money to create this thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
But that's like a legit thing that people can go and pay and do.
I think I would be able to.
Yeah.
I've never scuba dived.
Yeah.
Before. Scuba dove. But it seems quite the way they explained it in confessional, as required by the talking points of the Atlantis Royal Integration and Dubai Tourism Board, they were like, "Oh, you just breathe normally."
Like normal. And then Jack or Carson, someone says, "Yeah, I breathed normal."
Yeah.
But I have, and I meant to look up because I can't remember the name of this little issue I have, but I have a fear of above ground things under the ocean.
Oh.
So if I see a ship or like a Ferris wheel or a statue, anything that has like sunk under the ocean,
okay,
I get really freaked out. Really? And I would never dive down to them. I would have a panic attack. It would not work.
Wow.
But that's usually the ocean. This is like man-made.
Yeah.
So I wondered because at first glance, I'm like, no, thank you.
But remember how deep it seemed to go?
Yeah.
Like, I do feel like it's one of those things where you can't see the bottom.
No.
And so I don't think that would feel any different for you.
When they said there was like a tunnel that you kept going to, I don't think they did that, Jack and Carson. I think
they didn't go down into it.
But I certainly wouldn't be going down to that. If that's where I had to go, then I would have tapped out and said, we can't do it.
Okay, so it wouldn't necessarily be just, I wondered if like just the existence of that tunnel and the seeming endlessness of it would freak you out.
No, as long as I got to stay up.
Okay.
And maybe if I could see
you can kind of see where you're going.
There's still a pool up here. Mm-hmm. This is man-made. The shark's not going to come up and eat me.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably get to get through it, but yeah.
I mean, that thing, who knows how much it costs, but that would be incredible, I think,
it's a wild experience.
Do something like that. It just seemed really, really cool because there were like motorcycles down there and pool tables and
why? So creepy. Oh, it gives me like the chills. Like, don't put that stuff underwater. It doesn't belong there. Doesn't make sense to me. They're like, oh, a pool table, a motorcycle. What? Stop.
Yeah.
Why? Anyway, so Jack and Carson are going to do fine. They're going to have a time of their life.
Yeah.
They're going to get through it. They're going to
go to the pit stop.
Exactly. Blah, blah, blah. We'll get to them later.
Blah.
Okay, back to tea time.
Brett and Mark are out next. Okay.
Love it.
Then Melinda and Erica.
Yeah, they do fine.
Jeff and Pops get a bad check.
Yeah.
Because they basically bring over their tray and drop something immediately. And then I swear I saw Jeff step in it.
Somebody well, I can't tell if they stepped or what, but it's smushed on the ground.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty.
I was afraid for this production. The lawsuit that was coming their way. After one of their contestants got
into the carpet.
Frosting into this beautiful carpet in Dubai, I was like, you can't afford this lawsuit.
No, well, they got a large cleaning bill
yeah.
after this leg for sure.
Yeah.
But I think they also missed something. It sounded like they had missed a cake and flung one off their little thing. So they're definitely going to have to go back and check. Mike and Nick are basically last there with them, and it's like a battle now between Mike and Nick and Pops and Jeff to get out of tea time.
But Nick and Mike get out right before. Now, if you remember, Nick and Mike are gunning for first.
Okay, keep gunning.
And they were second to last.
Keep gunning.
Getting out of this tea service situation. So Jeff and Pops are out right after them. So now we're at the beach, right? They have to go to some beach to get their next clue, and they're all surprised that it's another roadblock.
Yes, another roadblock. You usually have to do the other person, but it did not seem like
it didn't seem like that. Like some of them were saying, like,
well, I guess.
Thank goodness we did the skydiving, as though it was one or the other. But then we saw some teams where the same person did the roadblock back to back, like Nick, for example, of the brothers, did both. But yeah,
who's ready to ride a wave?
Ride a wave. Well, definitely Han.
Han is up for this. I would be able to do this. This is fine.
Yeah, hydroboarding. I think either of us could do this. Yeah, it's just balance and honestly understanding where you're placing your weight, front or back on the board, and like how it seemed like it was critical to kind of keep the pace of the board. If you went too slow, it's going to tip over and you're going to fall.
Although to be fair, I can't skateboard, so maybe this isn't my thing.
I'd do it.
Yeah,
I'd do this one.
So it's a motorized surfboard. Yeah. Josiah's going to get there. He's stoked.
He's surfed before. He's kind of catching on quickly. It's all about like getting up on your knees, and then on your feet, and then riding a certain distance on your feet.
Han and Jonathan are right behind him. Like these first three seem to be like getting into the water basically around the same time.
Now, why do you think Mark, when Brett and Mark ripped their thing, it seems like Mark thinks he has to do it.
Yes.
And he's like, dang it. He seems upset, like he doesn't want to go in the water. I don't know if he's not strong in the water or what the situation was there.
Right. I was not clear if it was like, because it's water, you have to do it. Like maybe Brett doesn't go in the water, or they just thought.
Yeah.
It was unclear on why Mark felt like, oh darn.
Yeah.
What to ask.
Yep. Erica does it for Melinda and Erica team, because Melinda's like, thank goodness I did the skydiving thing, so I feel like I contributed this leg, and Erica can do this one.
Yeah.
So Josiah sort of gets a bad try. He makes an attempt and he falls. Now Jeff and Pops arrive for the brothers. Got him for first.
Where are you? Guys? Where are you?
Losing what little lead you had. Getting to the thing. And then when they rip the clue, there's all this huffing and puffing about, which one of us is going to do this? But I'm like, you are in last place. Pick a person. Because Mike is like, Mike is like, well, you're the athlete. It seemed like there was like an allusion to, we've had this conversation pre-race. You're going to do the athletic ones.
Yeah.
And I know you're frustrated because you already did the skydiving one, but this is clearly athletic. And we talked about this. You're going to do it.
The athlete shouldn't have skydove.
Yeah, true.
That's not athletic.
Because I think Nick just seems tired.
Yeah.
But Mike is like, well, bro, you said you were going to do these ones, so you should do it.
There was like a fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But again, you're last. Just go. Pops this soundbite that Pops has done 4 roadblocks and Jeff needs to step it up and do one.
I agree.
I was like, wait, what?
I was shocked by
Pops
that.
is carrying this team?
And guess what? Pops should have done this one.
No, stop.
Because Jeff goes into the water with his shoes on, and Pops is like, Jeff doesn't like to swim. When I took the kids to swim, Jeff would like go off and play basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Pops,
oh no,
this one's for you.
No, Jeff's like, water? No thanks. But here he is. He's getting in. Yeah. But the highlight of this is that Han is like, this is my world.
Oh, yeah.
Crushes it.
She literally, get out. At one point, wasn't she the one who was like, is that all I have to do? I think I'm good.
Yeah, she's like, can I please just try it? Can I go? I surf. Can I go? Because, they had to like practice.
No, she's like, sorry, this practice is actually slowing me down.
Yeah. I don't need to do this. Thank you. And she's going to get out. She
out
does it
first.
Fantastically. Well,
loved to see it.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. People falling, whatever. Fun to watch.
Yeah.
It really only gets real when we get down to our last couple teams.
One more thing I want to flag. I love Erica, 1 attempt, and she's good.
Girl,
out in 4th place.
Killing it.
1 attempt. Loved to see that. But yes, it comes down to Jeff versus Nick.
Yeah.
Father, son versus brothers.
And did you catch when they like show up? Holden's like, you're good. You're good. To
Nick and Mike.
Yeah. And they were like, no, we're battling for last.
Yeah.
And Holden's like,
oh
yeah, no, good luck.
Yeah.
He's like, it's all good. You got here. You're good. And he's like, oh, wait, my bad.
We're at the back of the pack.
No, okay. Just kidding.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
So Jeff finishes before Nick.
Yeah, he does. He got it. He was for not being a swimmer.
Yeah.
He got it pretty quickly.
It
seemed just a couple tries.
Yep. So they're out, but Nick finishes on his 3rd attempt. I mean, they don't account for like how much practice went into that, but it only took him 3 legitimate attempts to get it done. He seemed tired as he was doing it. Like he was squatting really low, seemed like he wanted to like keep his center of gravity. I don't know. It just seemed like Nick was like I need a break.
Yeah. I will say there was a hilarious moment where the music turned to like hero music and everyone was just going real slow. I was like, are they roast?
Well, you heard like, some of the people were
like,
yeah. And you literally heard people from the sidelines, like on the beach, they were like slow and steady. So I'm like, how slow are they going? Like, yeah.
Fall. I was like, this is funny.
So funny. So the brothers who are gunning for first have left the hydroboarding in last place.
Yes. Jeff and Pops heading out. So the way you go to the pit stop is you have to get on a metro train and head out to wherever this pit stop is.
Wherever this museum of the future is. Just a couple
people, they're like, we know it's going to happen. We've seen a couple people get on this train and go. But now we've got Pops and Jeff headed that way.
Yeah. Jack and Carson have like already made it to the pit stop and they've won their trip to Alaska and they're number 1. But now we see like Han and Holden, we're really following them on this journey. And we see like, oh, you have to buy the ticket and get it. So it really, like you said, just comes down to like, is it going to be Jeff and Pops or is it going to be Nick and Mike? And I'm like, yep. This is exactly as I predicted. 8th place.
I was like, well, luckily David told me that Nick and Mike are going next. So my guys, Pops and Jeff, are going to be fun.
And they should have. If Jeff had not second guessed himself. And I totally get why. But they run up to this platform and the train doors are open if they just run through them and get on the train. But you just need that extra 15 seconds to confirm, oh, we're on this platform. Like they're just thinking the guys are right behind us. We want to make sure we're on the right train. But by taking that extra moment, I mean, he literally sticks his arm in the door to stop it. And no, they're not going to wait. And then he finds out that was my train.
That was their train. So, but here's the thing. And I talked to Pops and Jeff about this. Please check out their interview. It was lovely speaking with them. But they never want, and they said, we luckily watching it back confirmed, they never once stop. They're going. Jeff puts his arm out. He's like, is this the train?
Yeah.
But they do not make the train.
They don't pause.
They have camera crews behind them. He said, 4 people have to get on a train. So if my arm is almost taken off, there's no way 4 people make this train.
And that would not be okay. Right. If they got on the train and the camera crew
They can't get on the train without their camera crew. That is not a possibility. Wow. So even though it's like, yeah, please don't get on the wrong train, like double check what you're doing. They never were going to make that. So he's like, yeah, I wish we had been there, a few minutes earlier, but those minutes needed to come off of the surfing or the tea time. Like, don't drop your cake at the tea time kind of thing,
It's really the producer's dream, this kind of scenario where Jeff and Pops could have gotten on the train. Like, it's literally a matter of 20 seconds for Jeff and Pops to be able to make the train and the, camera crew to miss it or whatever. Right. So this is like, from an editing perspective, you never get a chance to tell this story of a near miss like this because now they have to wait, right? So they're standing there and they're like, oh my gosh, that was the right train. They're freaking out. And then, of course, worst case scenario, right? Mike and Nick walk up and they know they're about to get on the same train together. And unfortunately, Pops, we know, has like a bum ankle or something. Yeah. And he's just not going to be able to. And he's just in his 60s. He's not going to move like Mike and Nick, Although,
so this was
heartbreaking at this point. I'm like, anyway, Nick and I know. Look, I don't want them to get eliminated,
but they are.
But they've gotten me 1 point. So, anyway, they're all on the same train, and it's interesting to see. Should we go down here? Should we go over here? They're trying to like position themselves. They don't know where the train is gonna like let them disembark, and then which direction they have to choose, but. I think they're like, let's get far enough away from them, but still close enough so that if we are on the wrong side, we can overtake them in this foot race. They all know that they're going to be running to the mat together. And I mean, ultimately it ended how I think we knew it would. There was like a really dramatic moment where Nick and Mike think they found this like side entrance that they could go up, but the doors are locked, and Jeff and Pops like stop to go back, but then it was the wrong way. And so then they're sort of like course correcting. And once it gets to like, we're outside of the Museum of the Future and we're sprinting to the mat, Nick and Mike just take a huge lead and can sprint to the mat, and Pops can't.
Yeah. I mean, I loved Pops' energy, like on the train, they're like, buckle your pants, they're like getting ready. And he's like, Pops is like, I'm going to do it. We got it. Yeah. Like, I love that energy because obviously, no, you don't got it, unfortunately. Yeah. And they give us a beautiful aerial shot where you can see Nick and Mike come up and you see Jeff cross the street and Pops is like, wait, still back there.
Yeah. And by the way, there are still 2 teams on the mat at this point. Like I think the train came like every 4 minutes or something like that. So it was all pretty close. And the music shift when Jeff and Pops landed on the mat, it was just like emotional swelling. I was like immediately crying because it's just like hard to watch any team get eliminated like this, like so close. And especially when they left the hydroboarding before Nick and Mike, and it just, sometimes that's how it goes.
Yes. All right, let's go down the pit stop. Yeah. Devastating end. Jack and Carson, like you said, they went in an Alaskan cruise.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yep. Seemed it was very the prize seems very romantic. They're like, you get dinners and like this suite and I'm like, this is really meant for a couple.
It is, but they could individually take, like, let's say they win another trip as a first place team.
Oh, they could take somebody else.
Yeah. Jack can take somebody and go on the cruise, and Carson can take whatever winnings.
Jack could take Carson, and then Carson could take. My dream is for them to fall in love.
Oh, okay. Well, they grew up together. I think we might have passed that point. They've known each other.
Never say never.
Never say never. Okay, great.
I just am watching them, and I've been watching them all season, and I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to speculate on anybody's feelings about anybody.
Sure. But
I'm think like,
there's something there?
I'm just like, one of you has to feel something about the other.
Well, that's fair. That happens.
I don't know who's who. Actually, I have some suspicions that I'll share off camera. But I'm like, I hope you guys go on that Alaskan vacation together.
Just go on the cruise and see.
You guys are just cute together.
Just fill it out.
Okay.
How the cruise goes.
And like, is Jack the one with the beard?
Jack's the one that looks like you.
So okay, he's got like the curlier hair and the beard, not the straight like straight down hair.
Right. That's Carson.
That's Carson.
Yeah. Carson looks like Will from Will and James.
Carson looks like Will. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
They have like the same.
Anyway, to me, Jack's like the funny one.
Yeah.
Because remember when he was like, I forget exactly what he said. He was like, I mean, I don't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
He kind of like makes a funny face.
Yeah.
He's like the funny one.
He is.
Carson's like the serious one who like thinks Jack is so great and like, oh, he's so funny. And, you know, Jack is like, oh, Carson, he's my rock. You know, he's just like so serious. I don't know. Anyway, now I'm shipping them. Sue me.
Hey. I'm in love with Brett and Mark.
Yeah. Okay, so they're first place.
Yeah.
Han and Holden, who I am not shipping because they're brother and sister.
Yes, please.
They are our team for 2.
So Holden was like, "That's my girl, my girl, my sister." They're fun though. Like they're getting along. I love it.
And Phil's like your best finish yet.
Good job, Han.
Good for them. Alyssa and
Josiah, solid team.
And this was that moment that I mentioned earlier where Alyssa and Josiah were like, this is so amazing. And the friends we've made. And Hannah's like, yes, we are friends. Like, cool to see that though. That's a little foursome. They're close. Then your boys, Brett and Mark, 4th place.
Thank you for the top 5 finish, Jen.
Yes. Jonathan and Anna, 5th place, up from last place.
That's
good for them.
Great. Yeah. Moving up.
Melinda and Erica, 6th place. I love to see it. I also love that moment where Anna was like, Mom, you're still here.
Yes, like that's a mom-daughter team. Like those are usually out by now.
I know.
They're doing well.
They really are. And then Nick and Mike, Jeff and Pops are eliminated. So
yeah, and this was emotional. Like you said, there's teams still on the mat, and they obviously love Pops and Jeff. Who wouldn't?
Pops is so freaking positive as he's being eliminated. Phil looked like he was gonna cry.
Yeah.
Because Pops was like, I got to jump out of that plane. Like, I've always wanted to do that. And like clearly this is something he probably never dreamed of, at least in this, especially in this stage of his life.
Yeah, right.
And to get to do it with his son, like what a cool experience. And I'm bummed that they had to go out.
I was so bummed. There was a package at the beginning of this episode where Pops and Jeff start talking about how like Jeff was like, I was always with my dad. My dad took me here and there, and you know, he's whatever. He said there was crime in his city and like he could have gone down a different route, but dad was always like, hey, come with me. And I was like, oh crap, this package means they're probably going. But I just love to see their relationship. They're so cute. I really love talking with them. I told them I wish I still were in it, and I did draft them. So thanks for those points. But before we wrap this up, let's talk about Jonathan and Anna, because we didn't get to talk about them last week. You weren't here, but that double U-turn was hard to watch.
It was.
How Jonathan kind of like gave up a little bit.
He was in shutdown mode.
Yep.
And look, I was watching that and I was like, I can't even put myself in this situation with the heat and the exhaustion. And he is one of those people, and I honestly think I'm probably the same way, where if I'm that tired, I can't communicate in a way that is effective, respectful, anything.
Yeah.
Like he really seemed like, when he was out on that surfboard, I thought the man was going to pass out and like drown in the ocean. I like, really felt for him. On
this.
That was really tough.
It was tough to watch because you're comparing it to this other team who's like fighting for that.
Scott and Lori.
To stay in the game. Yeah, Scott and Lori.
Yeah.
You know, and if Anna wasn't the absolute queen that she is, to be like, so supportive of Jonathan.
She's like, I know how he is
and what he's going through, and like to still get him on the mat at the end. But so here's what we've learned. So they put out an announcement that after the race, Jonathan and Anna went to seek professional help and said Jonathan's behavior on this race was wild, and they had not seen it this severe before.
Wow.
And through that scene,
in watching it back, or
this
experiencing the race?
Experiencing it. So before they watched it back, after they just experienced it, they said something isn't right. This was wild. They went to therapy, got doctors involved, and found out that he was diagnosed as autistic.
Interesting.
After the race.
Okay.
Then they were not only given a diagnosis, but they were given tools, right? Once you know what to expect. You have some tools to work with it. So that diagnosis and them just letting us in on that does help to explain a few things, like why he got overstimulated.
Yeah.
This was also, they explained the first time he was out of his sort of controlled environment, right?
Interesting.
You set up your life a certain way and he has no control over the elements or the time or like what's expected when.
Yeah.
So that is information that is interesting to know.
It's so fascinating. Yeah. Because think about that in comparison to Eva's journey on Survivor and her awareness of her situation and ability to reach out and communicate with people and say, this is what I need when you see me like X. If Jonathan had had those tools pre-race, it might have gone totally differently.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if he knew how to be like, okay, I know I'm overstimulated or whatever, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Anna obviously knows, like, okay, I know he'll freak out about these things. So she was like, I packed like 7 chapsticks or something, because if he loses one, he freaks out. So she knew like a little bit, but they didn't have, all of the information. What I really loved about all of this is that they are looking for help, right?
Yeah.
They are working on growing and evolving. And that is like, that's really the best.
Yeah.
Not to just like fight, give up.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm impressed that they even like released a statement like that.
Yeah.
And brought us viewers into that, because like we've given them a hard time on this podcast, because it's like some of the stuff is like funny / ridiculous / like sometimes we've been frustrated with Jonathan's behavior as viewers and feel like he's mistreating Anna. But I love that they were willing to give that context and like, because they don't owe us that, but like to put that out and like bring a bunch of strangers into their own sort of like journey as a couple. That's like pretty cool.
Well, and I mean, honestly, the way Jonathan phrased it was like, you guys are going to see some hard stuff. So like, he knows what's coming. Stuff we haven't even seen yet. He's like, it gets bad.
Worse.
Yeah. He's like, so hang tight and know.
Oh, you think that's bad?
Yeah. That it's undiagnosed, didn't know what I was going through.
Wow.
So it is nice to be able to keep this in mind.
Yeah.
But I will say, as someone who does work with, I work with Special Olympics. I work with lots of people who are on the autism spectrum, and we do not allow bullying. We do not allow to put others down.
Sure.
And so I do not think that this diagnosis gives him an excuse for treating Anna.
Sure, but it's just sort of context.
But exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I assume the more they learn together, that he will be a nicer person to her. And
that gives me faith that they're going to get through this, because we've said before, like, they cannot still be together.
Yeah, right.
As we're watching this, but that gives me hope that like they.
But she's on the journey with him. Yeah. And so they're doing that together. And that is good to hear. But I just wanted to discuss that in case anyone hadn't heard that yet. We now have this information.
One more thing for me before we wrap this up. I'm beating a dead horse. But Nick and Mike, I said they were going to get out in 8th. And I do believe they should have gotten out in 8th. A freak situation gave them a second chance. Please, dear God, finish in the top 5 and get me more points on my draft. Okay?
They literally have given you 1 point. That is the least amount of points of anyone still in the game.
Yeah. And second only to one team, Courtney and Jasmine, who got 0 points the whole race.
Right. And they're not in the game.
They're not in the game. So
Nick and Mike, that's not good.
You have been gifted with something that I did not predict you would get. Okay. I predicted you were out. Do I want you out? No. You're my last team in the draft. I need points.
Oh, wait. What? David's down to 1 team?
I'm down to 1 team. Sarah with 3 left. I could have sworn you. Oh, no, you have 1 left. I was like, I could have sworn you drafted Pops and Jet.
Yeah. I have
Sarah, who just lost her first team.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Melinda and Erica are giving me more points than Mike and Nick are giving you points. I mean, who would have called that?
Who would have thought?
You drafted them first. I drafted Melinda and Erica
and last. I remember you were like, oh, Of course, you draft them first.
Yeah, I wanted to take them for sure.
So, as I've said before, I want better for you. But let me say that louder. I want better for you.
No, I want
And when you say you're gunning for first, I don't want you to get second to last.
They are super fans who have applied 4 years.
Yeah.
We do want better for them.
Of course.
You don't want you finally got on the show and you go out 7?
Yeah, no.
But I kind of think they're next.
They are. Because the rest of these teams
fall down.
That's really all I could probably predict because I mean, Han and Holden, I didn't have a ton of faith in going into the race, but they have proven themselves.
I mean, they have, but they've gotten lucky with some surfing. They're not going to be surfing for the rest of this race.
True, but I do feel like they're kind of clicking. I think they're probably most improved over the course of the season. They seem to be getting how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Carson and Jack have been solid from the beginning. Jonathan and Anna are solid. Brett and Mark are solid. Alyssa and Josiah are solid. So it's like Nick and Mike are Melinda and Erica. Josiah
and Alyssa need to keep it going. They have longevity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Carson, are you kidding me?
Come on.
They are the team to beat, and people are just probably figuring that out.
Yeah.
Brett and Mark, I think, are up there. Jonathan and Anna obviously can't even be taken out with a double U-turn.
Yeah.
Although I will say next episode.
Week, another one.
Wait, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Double U-turn again?
Yeah.
So I'm like, really?
And the first self-drive.
Let's go.
I honestly was like, I didn't even know that I'd been missing this. I didn't realize that we haven't had a self-drive yet. But I was thinking this episode, I'm like, there's a lot of really close finishes on the mat. Self-drive, all bets are off. People might be hours behind.
It didn't look like opposite side of the car street.
No, I don't know where they're going.
But still self-drive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So excited for that. I don't know how I feel about a double U-turn this quick. But I'm here for the self-drive. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So happy to have David back.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Thirsty. All right, we're late this week, so tomorrow is the next episode. We will be here Thursday for Survivor.
We will.
And next Monday for Amazing Race, but I will have the exit interviews on Thursday as well.
Yes.
Thank you everyone who joined us live in the chat. We appreciate it.
And if you are joining us later, leave us a comment and let us know how you feel about Jeff and Pop's elimination. Nick and Mike's second to last place finish.
What?
Jack and Carson, do you agree with
Sarah?
Are they the team to beat
at
this point? Han and Holden are surging. Give us some predictions for what you think is going to happen.
Yes, let us know. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.